Hi Virgo, welcome to Knight of Cups Tarot and welcome to your cards for February. So Virgo, February is going to feel very Virgo-y. There is a very large stellium including retrograde Mercury going on in your 6th house, and this is really your element. So for all of you, especially my Virgo ascendants, your health, your routines, and your work are probably going to be a pretty heavy focus this month. There's something about the the mundane things that we do, which is kind of what you're greatest at, bringing us some luck this month. As well, there is a square over to Uranus and Mars kind of in your 9th house, and this could be a feeling of liberation. Now, for some of you, there could be an opportunity to travel or to go back to school. There could be old legal stuff that comes up, maybe even some financing that could go on here. Remember, at the end of the month, we have a very large full moon in Virgo, so that's going to be pretty juicy for you. But the entire month is pretty important. Now, I cannot go through this reading without kind of addressing 6th house stuff, and that is that of health. If you are a Virgo that has not been paying a great amount of time and attention to your health, those are some things that might come up this month. Now, it could just be readjusting your diet. If you're experiencing things like inflammation or maybe some kind of a food allergy of some sort, it would be really good to go and explore those things. It's time to take your health very seriously. It is time to make yourself, and this includes your mental health as well. It is time to make it a priority. So, if you are in unhealthy relationships, if you are feeling like you're in a workplace that is wreaking havoc on your mental health, it's time to start exploring some other options. It's really important that we put ourselves first this month. I'm going to say we a lot because I'm a Virgo. I have a Virgo stellium, so this is very true to some of the stuff that I've been looking at in my own life. Now, I will tell you that because retrograde Mercury is here in your 6th house, there's going to be an emphasis of frustration this month, especially as I started to do these readings last week as it was stationing to go retrograde. Again, if you look at it this way, these readings are part of my routine, my monthly routine. I do them every month. And yet, as soon as I started to do them, all kinds of stuff went wrong, like everything. It forced me to kind of redo the way that I do things. It also forced me to kind of figure out a plan into where I want to invest next. How do I want to handle this? Where do I want to take this? It was kind of the little things that made me look at the bigger picture. You can expect this to work out this way all month long. You will notice that the things that you do every day seem to feel confusing or scattered, unorganized, but the universe is inviting you to spend an extra couple of minutes and reorganize it, right? Saving yourself time and efficiency in the future. Very Virgo kind of stuff here. But as you're doing that, I think it's also important to say, do I want to be doing this forever? Maybe you find a new path or a easy way to skip over a big traffic jam on your way into the office every day. And then you start to say, yeah, but do I even want to come into the office every day? Is there something that I could do to start working from home or to make my life easier in some way? The little things are going to kind of breadcrumb us towards the bigger things this month. And that's indicated as well in your cards. Now, you are coming out as the King of Air. And I think this is Virgo kind of really embracing the quality of this Aquarius season. Really understanding and inviting the change and the efficiency. Listen, because we have so much going on in air signs, 2021 will move very quickly. The changes that we implement will go very quickly. so will the opportunities. Things are going to come into our life and we're going to have to either quickly grab them or let them go. And that is why I love that you are coming out as a King of Air, because there is something so intelligent. There is so much wisdom from experiences in the past. And the idea that you could make better decisions for your future. Now, for some of us, we might really be looking at situations that have already played out in our lives. Things that are very similar to things we've experienced. Maybe we're in relationships that seem similar to older relationships. And the universe is kind of like, so do you really want to do that again? And I think the King of Air gives you that emotional detachment that is required to make the wiser decisions. Now, your element, your environment this month is that of love. Now, this is actually the Lover's card in normal tarot. Card number 6, again, emphasis on that 6th house. We have the sign of a trine and the sign of a north node. So there are opportunities coming your way, Virgo. There are doors being opened, no doubt. But the things that you will succeed in are the things that are truly meant for you. And you will know that they are meant for you because you feel as though they belong. And I think that's a big clue about this month. If you are in situations that you feel you don't quite fit in with, they simply aren't meant for you. And you will probably start to do the things you need to do to change those. Again, you could be dealing with coworkers or friends or neighbors or your neighborhood, and you could say, wow, this really isn't what I believe. These people they don't really have a lot in common with me. And I think there's an emphasis this month for Virgo on your values, on your morals, on your ethics, on who you are at a core. We have this 9th house square happening mid-month, Uranus and Mars squaring off with all of that Aquarius planet in your 6th. And there is an opportunity here to either improve the things that you have right now or to really take steps forward into the new. And I think that that's a lot about what this decision is about. I think there is a lot going on in Virgo's life when we're sifting through the things that we want to stay and the things that can kind of go. Now, the first card out, the card next to this card of love, the 6th house, is the 3 of Wands. And it indicates to me that there's probably been something that you have been waiting on for quite a while. There's something very stagnant about the 3 of Wands. There's also something very stagnant about the 4 of Swords that comes out in the overall energy. I think that Virgo has had plenty of time to reflect and think, and this energy might be getting a little bit redundant for you. Waiting for other people, waiting for the situations to come, waiting for the time to be right. When we are in these energies, especially this 3 of Wands, there's always an indication that we're waiting on those external things. Is my partner going to want to, take this relationship to the next level? Am I going to get that promotion at work? Should I go back to school? And there's been a lot of waiting, and there's been a lot of thinking, and there's been a lot of weighing the options. I think the 3 of Wands always indicates to me that there are also expectations. And that might be some of the stuff that you've been wrestling through lately, is your expectations. Because I see that 3 of Wands come out next to this Page of Pentacles, you might be expecting something to grow or some kind of offer to be made. Waiting on somebody or something to to happen in order for you to gain this 10 of Cups? And especially because this 10 of Cups comes out next to this Jupiter returns benefit card. Jupiter in your 6th house can bring you a lot of luck. But the luck could be kind of different. When I look at the 6th house, sometimes it could even be enemies. And sometimes I'm looking and there might be people or situations in your life that are just simply taken away. I think the universe has seen you struggle with this, and therefore, because you've done the work and because you really don't have control over it anyways, we're just going to remove this obstacle. And that's what I really feel like that Jupiter return is for you. The removing of obstacles, the clearing of the path. Some of this you will do, and some of this the universe is going to kind of take care of for you. But there is no doubt that the universe is listening. Jupiter return. There is no doubt that you've been doing the right things. I think Virgo has been valuing themselves more. They have been demanding more. It's not about the potential of people anymore. There is an absolute demand that they live up to the expectations. And in some ways, some of those people, some of those relationships, those seeds that we have planted are going to live up to your expectations, Virgo. Some of them aren't. Now we get into the second row here, and this is kind of mid-February to March. It's going to be very up and down. There's going to be a mix of good and bad. And then what it truly means is that your environment is changing to match your new vibration. You have gone through the changes. Now we have this expect powerful change, new moon eclipse next to the card of death, above the card of the Tower. There is no doubt, Virgo, that February will bring in massive change. And it's all about the direction it's going to go in. I think this death card is you not waiting anymore. Not waiting on other people, not waiting on other things, not waiting for the time to be right. This Uranus energy in our 9th house can make us really optimistic. And there's going to be this push and the pull inside of you, Virgo. There's going to be a part of you that says, F this, I'm not going to live like this anymore. I'm not going to do this life anymore. I'm not going to spend 11 hours a day at this job that doesn't pay me, or, you know, maybe this is somebody else getting that promotion you've earned. It could be real frustrating, right? 6 of Swords in reverse in the very center of your 9-card block. That's the feeling like you have to go back to square one. That's a feeling like you're not making forward progress, and yet you are by leaps and bounds. And some of the gifts that you're going to get this month is going to be the clarity that comes from the truth of other people's intentions. The thing about February, the thing about Uranus, is it makes it really hard for people to be people they aren't. So, if you have people in your life, coworkers, friends, family members, whatever, if you have people that make a whole bunch of promises to you and never really show up, you're going to know that it's just simply not productive or efficient for you to give those things attention anymore. I think that it's going to be very clear to you the things that fit in your environment this month and the things that simply don't. I think it's be very clear for Virgo this month and the environments that they work in and the ones that they don't. And that Uranus is going to make it absolutely impossible for you to stay in environments that you don't feel like you belong. You know, if you are a liberal working in an office that is very political and conservative, you're probably going to feel really uncomfortable. And I think there's an idea that you're probably just going to want to find something better because you're going to want to be around, and vice versa. That wasn't an opinion in any way. It's so hard for me to talk about that stuff. People are so polarized and so sensitive. And what I get from this reading is Virgo just wanting to find this soft spot. I think ultimately Virgo just wants comfort. They want the people in their lives that love them. They want to feel safe and accepted and loved because that is what they do for others. And so you're going to start to look around and go, why am I wasting my time and energy on this? Why am I showing up here every day? Why am I making these sacrifices? Jupiter return is an indication that you will be handed opportunities this month that will be much more worth your while. There will be better things to spend your time and energy on, and you will see them clearly. But certainly some of the things have to go. The Tower card underneath the Death card is kind of like catapulting you into this change. All right, so mid-month we have all these big ideas, right? Okay, we're going to change this, we're going to change that, we're going to stop hanging out with this person, we're going to stop dating this person, we're going to start looking for, and then you start to ease yourself into the idea and the Tower card comes and everything happens very quickly. I don't necessarily feel negativity coming from this card. I feel like this is the universe getting things in place for you so that you could take this leap. And for some reason, I feel as though you are being saved. See, this King of Swords, again, King of Air, King of Swords, this comes right here in the middle underneath this Six of Swords. The idea of moving backwards. And there might be some things, Virgo, that you think, okay, well, I'm going to have to prepare because if I don't want to do this job anymore, that means I have to go back to school. The idea of going back, right? Doing something maybe you started a long time ago. And you might be a little intimidated by that thought because it's not going to be easy. Going to take a lot of time. You don't know if you have the resources in some way. Ace of Cups oftentimes does indicate the resources. But your mind is ticking. Like you are thinking of the new ideas. How can I really do this? How can I make this old dream happen? Because ultimately what the universe wants to do, card number 5, Orphaned, is to get you in a place where you feel like you fit in. So that you don't have to stay in situations where you feel any element of not belonging, not being valued. When you start to realize this, when you start to plant this seed, this Page of Pentacles, and you start to overcome the obstacles or all the reasons why you can't make this change, why you can't do this differently. Because as soon as you change, as soon as you make that decision, the support shows up. And this 3 of Cups, 10 of Cups, Jupiter returns indicates to me that the opportunities will be directly in front of you, and it is whether you feel like you are worthy of them or not, and whether you will take them. It's not a good time to operate in fear. In fact, it is a fantastic time to operate from a place of faith. There's a lot of indication that the universe is going to support you, Virgo. And I think every time you set a boundary or put your foot down or say, no, I'm not going to work those extra hours. No, I'm not going to take that time away from my family. Whatever it is that you're dealing with, when you start to put your foot down, when you start to show the universe what you want to embrace in your life, it happens very quickly. All the pieces begin to fall into place as they have been wanting to do for some time. There is a releasing, there is a letting go, there is a walking away, and there will be endings. There will be clarity. And ultimately, there will be so much support. Now, I do want to take a minute to read these two cards for you. They're pretty profound. And this month is really profound for you, Virgo. And I hope that I did an okay... I just want to make sure that I can express the change that is available to you now. And I'm wondering if maybe some of you won't see it. I'm wondering if some of you might kind of get stuck in this place of not being able to leave the old stuff, not being able to walk away. And in that ninth house, that Uranus and Mars, there's a liberation. You have to break free from your own limitations. And that's, I have known people that have gone back to school at 80 years old just to say they did it. And maybe that's something that you're thinking about. And this in reverse indicates to me, one, that it's ideas from the past that are kind of coming back and saying, maybe you should try that. Maybe you should have done that. And you have to start changing your perspective and to believe that these things are possible. Maybe you're dating somebody who doesn't really treat you very well. And the universe wants to see you stand up for yourself and walk away from that relationship. And as soon as you do, the right people start to show up. Because you've made the space. Because you've set your intentions. You can't say to the universe, I only want people that love me, and yet still participate in, not so great relationships. You have to set the tone. You have to set the tone for your future right now in everything that you do. And even the small details, the everyday stuff truly matters. The little goals create bigger goals, create bigger goals. And that feeling like you're checking things off of the to-do list, you're setting goals and you're reaching them, and it feels really great, and you start to really focus on the progress that you've made. And I think as well this month is a gift because there's a lot of emotional detachment that we're able to do, meaning we don't feel so guilty for saying, yeah, but I'm not going to give you my time and effort because you don't deserve it, because you don't give back. I'm not going to invest all this time in a company that doesn't pay back, that isn't invested in my future in some way. And I think ultimately you just start to realize that you are your greatest resource. That when you love yourself, when you choose you choose the better opportunity. You choose the walking away and being single in hopes to find the right one instead of settling for the wrong one. And you start to be not so afraid of these big changes. Okay. Also indicating, if you take a look at it, I like how we went from card number 5 to card number 4 supporting it. There is going to be a little bit of a setback this month, and maybe a lot of ways. Virgo, maybe you just find yourself having to redo things. Maybe you're redoing paperwork at work. Maybe you're redoing reconciling. Maybe you're working with old clients or reviewing old jobs, something like that at work. Maybe you're running into old friends or old partners. Maybe you're having those talks. Maybe you're learning a little bit more about yourself. But I think it definitely indicates that the more you're willing to release, the more the universe is going to give back. The more space you make, the more you will get in return. Card number 5, orphaned. A sense of loss or an identity crisis, recognizing that you don't fit in and the need to belong, and uncertainty about your place. See, this is a hesitation. I don't think that you're going to have much of a choice this month. I don't think that you're going to be able to stay in this place that you've been in for a while. It feels like you've been in this waiting for a while, and February the changes must occur. We were all meant to have connections with other people within our families, society, and the larger culture. No man is an island, and it's important to recognize when being a part of, rather than separate from, is essential to your well-being. The issue at hand is you need to find where you fit. Be true to your core truths and values. Perhaps you no longer identify with a group or community the way you did before and need to find a new situation. You might be feeling a deep sense of loss or confusion. Address the needs for belonging and know that you will find your place with others of like mind and spirit. It's okay to let go of pressure to fit in. Not everyone will understand you, and it's time to move on. And card number 4, which is kind of like the power from coming from a place you probably don't see. Conscious contact with a higher power, the presence of the divine, and seeing source energy with all things, committing to a partnership with spirit. This card reminds you that you are more than a person trying to get ahead and make things happen for yourself and others. You have an immortal soul, are gifted with a human life through which a higher power can express itself. At this time, you need to be conscious of your connection to spirit and foster it through prayer and meditation. What is the highest good of all? How can I serve? Then get out of your own way and trust that there is a plan for life more wondrous than you can even know. You are always protected and divinely directed. Big indication, we don't really talk about that enough, but the 6th house is a very spiritual house, but it's about the spiritual routines. So the 12th house is kind of, if you go to church, then the 12th house is the church itself. But the 6th house is the daily prayers or the daily gratitude. And there could be a lot of progress that could be made spiritually if you start making some of these things a routine. Maybe you do start meditating a couple times a week or setting a little bit of time to the side each day. Like I said, we're working on that mental health as well. It is important to have time for yourself. And it's really efficient and helpful when you have quiet moments to think. It's much easier to make those big decisions when you're clear in the head. So Virgo, I think those are some of the things that you're going to be able to achieve this month with the help of the universe. I do feel as though there are wonderful, beautiful things coming in for you. And mostly, I feel like you are just really stepping into a place of loving yourself and wanting so much for yourself. And I think that voice inside of you that wants you to feel loved, wants you to feel precious, is so big and so loud that it really does overwhelm all of those other voices in your life that are like, no, I need you to do this, or no, I want you to do that, or no, don't leave me alone, or, the needs of others. And I think you learn to make yourself a priority and to make your happiness a priority and to base your future on what feels really good to you now. All right, Virgo. Really beautiful month for you guys. I will be back. I will not be doing mid-months, but I will drop in mid-month, probably once I get the rest of the zodiac done, for a pick a card reading specifically for the Saturn-Uranus square. Now, I did one a couple weeks ago, and maybe I'll try to get a link up for you guys. You might want to revisit that reading. We kind of got a little hint of it, a little taste of it when I did that reading, but now this is the first square, so it might become more relevant again. So take a look at the last pick a card pile that I did if you want to look in this further. All right, guys, lots of luck to you. I wish you guys nothing but the best. I love you so much. Have a great month. Bye.